Have you ever wondered what it feels like to spend your entire life chasing a dream, only for the world to notice you when most people think your time is already over? This is the story of a goalkeeper who wasn't supposed to become a global star. A man from a tiny island nation that many football fans couldn't even find on a map. A man who spent decades fighting in silence. And when his greatest moment finally arrived, the person he wanted beside him the most wasn't there. His name is Josimar Dias. But the world knows him as Vozinha. Before millions of people followed him on social media. Before commentators around the world shouted his name. Before he became the hero of a World Cup match. He was just a boy growing up in Mindelo, Cape Verde. Cape Verde is a small island nation in the Atlantic Ocean with a population smaller than many cities around the world. For children there, becoming a football superstar wasn't a realistic plan. It was a distant dream. But dreams have a strange way of surviving, even when reality tells them to disappear. As a child, Vozinha fell in love with football. The game became more than entertainment. It became hope. It became purpose. It became a path towards something bigger than the life he could see around him. But football is ruthless. For every player who reaches the top, thousands are forgotten. And for years, Vozinha was one of those forgotten players. He didn't follow the glamorous path that football movies like to show. There were no headlines, no expensive academies, no worldwide attention. Instead, there were sacrifices, long journeys, uncertainty, and years of work that nobody outside his circle cared about. While other football stars were becoming famous in their early 20s, Vozinha was still fighting for opportunities. Many players give up when success doesn't arrive quickly. Many decide the dream isn't worth the pain. Many accept ordinary lives. Vozinha didn't. He kept going. Season after season. Country after country. He played in Cape Verde. He played in Angola. He played in Moldova. He played in Portugal. He played in Cyprus. He played in Slovakia. Every move brought new challenges, new languages, new cultures, new pressure, new doubts. And yet he continued, not because success was guaranteed, but because he refused to quit. Years passed. Then more years passed. Football is often obsessed with youth. Every season, younger stars arrive. Faster players, stronger players, new sensations. And eventually, many veterans fade away. But Vozinha wasn't interested in fading away. At an age when many footballers retire, he was still fighting for his place, still training, still believing, still chasing a dream that seemed impossible. Then came one of the greatest achievements in the history of Cape Verde football. The nation qualified for the FIFA World Cup. For countries like Brazil, Germany, Argentina, or Spain, qualification is expected. For Cape Verde, it was history. A moment generations had waited for. A moment millions thought they might never see. And standing at the center of that dream was a 40-year-old goalkeeper. 40 years old. Think about that. An age when most players are long gone from the biggest stage. Yet Vozinha was preparing for the biggest tournament on earth. The World Cup. A dream he had carried for decades. A dream that refused to die. Then came the match that changed everything. Cape Verde versus Spain. One of the giants of world football. A team filled with stars. A team expected to dominate. The football world had already decided how the story would end. Spain would win. Cape Verde would simply participate. The underdogs would be overwhelmed. But nobody told Vozinha. From the first whistle, Spain attacked relentlessly. Wave after wave. Chance after chance. Shot after shot. The pressure never stopped. Every save demanded complete concentration. One mistake could destroy everything. Yet somehow, the goalkeeper standing in front of millions looked completely fearless. He dived. He stretched. He reacted. He refused to break. Again and again. Spain attacked. Again and again. Vozinha answered. The minutes passed. The tension grew. The football world watched in disbelief. How was this happening? How was this 40-year-old goalkeeper keeping one of football's most powerful teams from scoring? The answer was simple. Because nobody fights harder than someone who understands how difficult it was to get there. When the final whistle arrived, the scoreboard showed something almost nobody expected. Spain 0, Cape Verde 0. A historic result. A moment that instantly became part of football history. Vozinha had produced one of the performances of his life. Millions of people suddenly wanted to know his name. Fans flooded his social media. His story spread around the world. The goalkeeper from a small island nation had become a global sensation overnight. But what happened next revealed something even more powerful than football. After the match, cameras captured an emotional Vozinha. People expected celebration. Instead, they saw tears. Real tears. The kind that come from somewhere deep inside. Because despite the greatest moment of his career, despite the world finally recognizing him, despite making history, his mother wasn't there to witness it. The woman who helped shape his life. The woman who believed in him. The woman who sacrificed so much. She was watching from far away, unable to be beside her son during the biggest moment of his journey. For Vozinha, that hurt more than any defeat. Because success means little when you cannot share it with the people who carried you through the hardest years. As the story spread, football fans everywhere connected with that emotion. Not because of goals, not because of trophies, but because everyone understands the desire to make their family proud. Everyone understands wanting the people you love to witness your greatest moments. The story touched hearts around the world. And eventually, help arrived. Efforts were made to ensure his mother could travel and finally watch her son in person. A reunion that felt bigger than football. Because sometimes the most important victories happen away from the pitch. Today, when people talk about Vozinha, they talk about the saves. They talk about Spain. They talk about the World Cup. But his legacy is much bigger than one match. His story is proof that dreams don't have an expiration date. That being overlooked doesn't mean you're finished. That success can arrive after years of silence. And that perseverance can take you further than talent alone. For decades, Vozinha worked without global attention, without fame, without guarantees, without knowing whether the dream would ever come true. Most people would have stopped. Most people would have chosen an easier road. He didn't. And because he didn't, millions of people now know his name. Not because he was the youngest, not because he was the most famous, but because he never gave up. The next time life tells you that you're too late, too old, too forgotten, or too far away from your dream, remember the goalkeeper from Cape Verde, the man who spent a lifetime waiting for his moment, the man who stood in front of one of the world's greatest teams and refused to surrender, the man who proved that persistence can be stronger than doubt. His name is Vozinha. And his story reminds us that sometimes the greatest victories belong to the people who simply refuse to quit. Because in the end, football was never the most important part of his story. The most important part was the journey. A journey filled with rejection, uncertainty, sacrifice, and years of invisible work. The world often celebrates the final result. The trophy, the victory, the viral moment, the standing ovation. But what people rarely see are the thousands of days that come before it. The mornings when nobody believes in you. The nights when you're questioning yourself. The moments when giving up feels easier than continuing. Vozinha lived through all of them. And that's why his story resonates with so many people. Because deep down, everyone is fighting a battle that others cannot see. Some people are chasing a career. Some are trying to support their families. Some are building businesses. Some are pursuing dreams that everyone else considers impossible. And just like Vozinha, many of them feel invisible. Many feel like their efforts don't matter. Many wonder if their opportunity will ever arrive. His life offers an answer. Keep going. Not because success is guaranteed, but because the only dream that truly dies is the one you abandon. When Cape Verde stood on the world stage, they represented more than football. They represented every small nation that has been underestimated, every underdog that has been ignored, every person who has ever been told they aren't good enough. And standing in goal was a man who embodied all of it. A man who had waited decades for a single chance. A man who understood that opportunities become priceless when you've spent years fighting for them. That is why his performance meant so much. It wasn't just about stopping shots. It was about proving that persistence matters. It was about showing that dedication can survive disappointment. It was about demonstrating that patience can eventually meet opportunity. Years from now, people may forget the exact score. They may forget the statistics. They may forget the headlines. But they won't forget the feeling. The feeling of watching someone who never stopped believing. The feeling of seeing an underdog stand tall against impossible odds. The feeling of being reminded that it's never too late for your story to change. And maybe that's the real reason millions of people connected with Vozinha. Because his story isn't really about football. It's about hope. It's about resilience. It's about refusing to let circumstances define your future. It's about understanding that greatness isn't always measured by fame or trophies. Sometimes greatness is simply having the courage to continue when nobody is watching. So wherever you are right now, whatever challenge you're facing, whatever dream seems impossible, remember this. A goalkeeper from a tiny island nation spent decades waiting for his moment. The world barely noticed him. The spotlight passed him by. Time kept moving. But he kept moving too. And one day, when the opportunity finally arrived, he was ready. Not because he was lucky. Not because it was easy. But because he never stopped preparing for a moment that most people believed would never come. That is the legacy of Vozinha. A reminder that perseverance has power. And perhaps the most beautiful part of all. And that decision could change everything.